Hello folks, and welcome to the next in the series of PRE Grade Booster mini videos. This video is about looking at 12 mark answers for the relationships and families topic. You can see on screen an 11 out of 12 answer from a real paper from the 2022 exam. I'll put a full list of the questions in the description box below if you'd like to have a go yourself, and remember you can always send your practice answers to your PRE teacher for feedback. This got 11 out of 12, and you can see where the examiner gave the marks because they're denoted with the green ticks. I'll talk through the answer and I'll talk through how to get that extra mark. The question here was divorce is never right. So let's take a look. Some Orthodox Christians may agree with the statement and believe that divorce is not an option. This is because marriage is considered a holy sacrament, and many believe that divorce would injure the promise of salvation. This means Catholics would avoid divorce to help their completed role of the sacrament of marriage. Now hopefully you can spot the error there, which is that Orthodox Christians and Catholics are mixed up. That might have lost this person a mark. However, what I want you to take away from that paragraph is some may agree, first statement answers the question. This is because, key term, quote, and this means that. It's super important in the 12 marker that you use that PEE structure as consistently as you can. It's worth 50% of your exam getting these 12 markers right, so it's really worth taking the time to practice as many as possible. I'll continue. However, some Catholics may disagree with the statement and say that divorce should only be a last resort. Couples may use the equivalent of an annulment. This is because an annulment would require an alternative figure like Pope Francis to declare a marriage invalid. That should be an authoritative figure. This would then deem divorce acceptable as the marriage was never truly valid in the eyes of God. Now that's got 2 marks, okay, because it could be more specific, I think. You could have a quote from the Catechism, and so I think the examiner might have been a little bit generous there, but again, you can see really clearly specific denomination, specific person for evidence, and PEE structure. Next, on the other hand, some Catholics may agree with the statement and believe that if a couple divorces, any relationship had after this acts as adultery. This is because one of the 10 commandments is, thou shalt not commit adultery, and the Catechism states that sex outside marriage is a sin. Therefore, some Catholics may view leaving a marriage and finding another relationship as being unfaithful to the original partner and breaking one of the 10 commandments. Now that's a big old passage. There's actually 2 pieces of evidence in there. The examiner's given this 4 marks, which is interesting, but it's a very big passage and totally acceptable. I'd probably advise this person not to have 3 paragraphs on Catholics. I'd like to see one on the Church of England. I'd like to see one on Buddhism, and perhaps one from a secular point of view as well. But nevertheless, the structure, the evidence, this is exactly how I want you to write. Finally then, contrastingly, some Buddhists may disagree with the statement, if marriage is causing suffering. This is because the main aim of Buddhism is to escape suffering and the cycle of samsara. Therefore, if a marriage is causing dukkha, Buddhists would be inclined to allow it to end. Okay, so two ticks, no specific references to sources. However, they have used a keyword and they have answered the question. Connective, some Buddhists, this is because, this means that. That structure is consistent in every single top band 12 marker. Overall, I disagree with the statement since divorce is the lesser of 2 evils and will result in the greater good. Okay, so my advice here is to copy the structure, is to take some of the evidence from this answer, but in order to improve it, you could do 2 things. You could supplant one of the Catholic passages for a Church of England passage on divorce being acceptable in certain circumstances. I would also suggest including a sausage max. This might not work because between the 2 Catholic paragraphs to show that you understand that they directly contradict each other. Why not give it a go yourself? And thanks very much for listening.